Wow. Thank you so much, sir, for that rendition of the Ekiti, Ajero Ekiti,
Yes.
Oriki. Can you see, the younger people and people in my generation are very unfamiliar with the traditional system in Africa. We are used to governor, president, and local government chairman, House of Assembly. But before all of this system came into place, there was the traditional system. What was the traditional system in Ekiti State before the advent of democracy, in particular in Ijero Ekiti?
Well, Ijero Ekiti is a typical Yoruba town, and our system before the colonial masters came was the king was the ruler and the spiritual head of his community. He also exercises judicial powers on his people. So a king could decree according to the laws of the land, even death for people, and could also save people from death. So the executive powers, the judicial powers, the religious powers reside in the Oba, and our people know it like that, and they give due respect to that until the colonial masters came and changed the landscape.
So, but Kabiyesi, did you not feel that there was so much power in one individual, which is different from what democracy offers? Democracy offers people the opportunity to have a say. Was there an opportunity for the citizens to have a say in how they were governed under the traditional system?
Of course, people had their say. With all the powers residing in one person as the king, it didn't mean that the king was autocratic. The king didn't rule alone. He ruled together with his chiefs. The chiefs are very important in the administration of the Oba. The king is the head. Most of the decisions are not taken alone by the king, although sometimes he can have his way. But he also consults with his chiefs. And as a matter of fact, cases build up from the family to the quarter, to the quarter chiefs, and from the chiefs to the Kabiyesi. Every community has what we have as an Iwarefa. That is a committee of 6 very, very senior and important chiefs who are the inner caucus that rule the kingdom.
You said, sir.
Yes, Iwarefa. Usually,
it's not only in Ijero or across Yoruba land. Do they all have it?
It's across Yoruba land. These are the inner caucus of the people. These are people we call Ajiroba. They see the king on daily basis. They take decisions together. He consults with them. They consult with the king. This is the system.
Well, that's good to know, Kabi. With the advent of the democracy that we have and representative politics, do you think that that has made the traditional system irrelevant? What would be the relevance of the traditional system under this, in this, new world order?
Well, as it is, there is no way that the traditional system of governance through the Oba can become irrelevant in our culture. It cannot. Some people have tried to relegate it, but our people, it cannot be done successfully because our people are so used to this Oba-ship system very much. I'll tell you that in any community, before, especially if you watch it, the rural communities, you find out that before people think of going to the police for any matter, they will first go to the palace. Before people think of going to the court, they want to go to the palace because it's easier for them. They are used to it, and the judgment in the palace is very fast. It's very cheap. It doesn't cost them anything. They come, they report their cases. You send for the other party. They come, they sit before you. They state their case. The case is judged. Usually, there are no adjournments, no unnecessary, no fees at all, and everybody goes back home happy. The success of the palace courts is that people come and they are reconciled. They come fighting, they go back as friends. So this is what our people are used to, and there is no way that it can be rendered irrelevant. I'll tell you that for no reason at all, in the 1999 Constitution, they removed the role of traditional rulers from the Constitution at the federal level. But you find out that governors in our states, if they will confess, they will tell you that there's no way they can rule their state without the efforts of the with the cooperation of the traditional rulers. At the local government, is even much higher, because no local government chairman can successfully rule his local government in any part of this country without the help of the traditional rulers. So the traditional rulers are always with the people. They are always a bridge between the government and the people. People see their traditional ruler, they live with them every day, they relate with them every day. So there's no way anybody can render the traditional institution irrelevant. It will not succeed.
But when it comes to the conflict of modernity, and perhaps because civilization in rural communities is still very limited, how is the traditional system dealing with the challenges caused by modernity and elitism and civilization in rural communities like in Ekiti and Ondo and all those other areas, where they still have more? For example, in Lagos, they have very limited power that traditional system have, except the fact that in rural part of Lagos, you have the Obas still have family lands that they can sell. But when it comes to more germane issues, the traditional system is a bit weak. But it appears in your part of the country, the traditional system is still strong. But as modernity and civilization at a higher rate gets closer into those areas, people are on social media, people are more exposed. Is it affecting the strength of the traditional system in the interlands?
You are wrong to say that in cities that the traditional system is weak. It's not. It is just
in
what
places
you
like
think.
Lagos, sir.
In Lagos, it is because you are not close to the palace and you don't know what the Oba of Lagos is doing. You know, one of the major tasks of the traditional ruler is settling disputes, settling quarrels. You don't know how many cases go to the Oba's palace every day. So everywhere in this country, I am telling you that the traditional rulers are doing a lot with and for their people. People go to them, people consult them, and I tell you that the cases that we handle in the palaces, they are much, much higher in number than what goes to the normal courts. I tell you that. Because we deal with all kinds of matters, land issues, inheritance issues, marital issues, chieftaincy issues, religious issues. They come before us every day, and we do a lot in settling them. So
and are those your resolution? Are they binding, sir?
Yes. the you see, they are binding, and in some cases, it's like you give a judgment in the palace. Somebody feels that is not satisfied, he can go to court to restate the case, and but sometimes when that happens, and they tell the courts that they have been to the palace, the courts are always interested in seeing what judgment was given in the palaces. And when such cases are presented, usually the court also resorts to the same judgment. The success rate of the palace courts very, very high.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's very impressive, sir.
Yeah.
That's part of why I'm having this conversation, because a lot of the young leaders in this generation are unaware of that much effort that the traditional system is playing, even in today's world or in our societies today. Can you educate us more, sir? What other areas is the traditional system playing active role in our world today? I'm hearing for the first time that they still adjudicate matters, they still settle local dispute up to today.
Yeah.
Are there other things that the traditional system do that we should be aware of? Because when a purpose for something is not known, you don't value that thing. If you don't know that this is how much the Obas are contributing and the traditional leaders are contributing to the world.
Okay. I'll tell you this, that the state governments, they always have a council of chiefs or a council of obas or a council of emirs, as the case may be. The council always play advisory role to the executive council of the state. They give advice from time to time. Government consults them. They allow them to do statutory meetings at least once a month, during which the government will refer certain things to them for consideration and for advice. And they have always found it very, very useful. And I tell you this, government programs are first of all given to the traditional rulers to explain to their people. You see, our people believe in us more than
Politicians.
the politicians. So
Yes.
if the politicians come telling us whatever position that politician is, come telling our people certain things, they want to confirm from the palaces. And the executive usually know that it is in their own best interest to consult with us. And an executive comes, spends like 4 years or 8 years and goes away. Another person comes. But the
Yes.
traditional ruler could be there 20, 30, 40, 50 years. We have traditional rulers now, like the Awujale of Ijebuland, who is over 60 years on the throne. You can imagine what kind of advice that person will be able to give to any executive governor. So this is the kind of thing we sit at the background and we give advice to whoever wants to listen to advice. And we tell them how to deal with the people, how to make life easy for the people, and we explain to people how to support them. That's part of the roles we are playing. And I also tell you that apart from this education and things like that, you know that the tradition of our and culture of our people, this is part of our main duties. And people who don't remember their culture or their tradition, they are lost already. We are the people keeping the tradition and culture of our people.
Yes, but in terms of engaging with politics, in recent time we have seen traditional rulers dabble into politics, and they said a king has no religion, a king has no party. How do traditional rulers balance playing their statutory duty in government and being non-partisan?
Well, it is easy for a king to be on the throne and not being partisan. As a matter of fact, any king, any traditional ruler, what is sought, should never be partisan. If a traditional ruler, those traditional rulers who uh, become partisan politicians, they are just greedy, selfish people. A traditional ruler does not need to do that. You need to keep yourself neutral. You are a father. The traditional ruler is a father to everybody. When people are in different political parties, the traditional ruler should conduct himself in such a manner that all his people, in whatever party, have direct access to him, and he too can consult with them. Any traditional ruler who is partisan already creates problems for himself and enmity for himself, and it will never work. So any traditional ruler, what is sought, should expiate himself from partisan politics.
Hmm. But moving beyond that, one of the challenges that affect traditional system fusing into the political system is because of financing. Most king make their financing from the political terrain. Are there innovations or reforms that you think the traditional system financing should adopt?
Well, it is not true that traditional rulers make their money or finances from uh, political
No, from
matters.
the one that go and endorse a candidate, maybe because the person gives. We've heard of traditional rulers that have gone to endorse one candidate or the other.
Traditional rulers have no business in it and endorsing anybody. Traditional rulers don't have any business with that. There is no reason for any traditional ruler to go and endorse anybody. It's very wrong. It's is demeaning and is ridiculous. Uh, Traditional rulers who do that, I agree with you. There are different kinds of people and there are different kinds of settings. But we all know that any traditional word is sought has no business endorsing anybody. Anybody who wants to be governor, whether they are, no matter how many of them, they should be free to come to the traditional ruler. When they come to the traditional ruler seeking political, the traditional ruler can pray for them. Only God knows which prayer he will answer and who he will allow to be there. That is all. So, maybe what you wanted to say was that politicians who are in power, they are the one paying the stipends of others and giving them certain things that government should provide for the traditional ruler so that the traditional rulers can be comfortable in their places. Like in our state in Ekiti here, the government buys vehicle for the traditional rulers. They paid stipends for traditional rulers to make our job easier. So, but that is from the government purse. It's not from the personal pocket of the chief executive of the state. So the traditional ruler has no reason to subject himself to the whims and caprices of any executive. Uh, Whoever is the executive there, he will do his term and go away. The system remains. So
Yes.
that is it. So we don't have any business endorsing anybody.
Sisa, moving away from the traditional ruler to the traditional system, in your thought, because the ruler is one person, the system is a structure. What really is the traditional system in Yoruba land? What is it like? Can
Well,
we have an overview?
yes, the overview, the traditional setting is such that you can describe it as this, that um, this is the system that our people know as their tradition and culture.
Hmm.
Everything incorporated in our culture the way we dress, the way we greet, the way we celebrate the dead, the way we celebrate the naming ceremony of our children, the way we do housewarming, the way we do our marriages. These are our language. These are the important aspects of our tradition and culture. And all these revolve around the traditional ruler.
Institute. Okay.
Yeah, that is it.
Okay. So the traditional ruler is at the center of the
Of all,
institution, of all the
yes,
institution and the management,
yes,
overseeing
yes,
the lands, overseeing the resources, having a judicial system, and also having a system that ensures fairness and equity.
yes, including
Thank you, sir.
spirit.
Please tell us about the spiritual, sir.
Yes. Well, when we talk about spiritual, those who are only used to Christianity or Islam may not quite understand it. But in the traditional setting, all the traditional worshippers see the king, the Oba, as their head. Whatever they want to do, whatever they consult with the traditional ruler. It's not exactly so in Christianity or in Islam, but who have their own line of uh, order. But in the traditional setting, the king is also the spiritual leader of the kingdom.
So is it now possible, sir, for the king to believe in a higher religion like Christianity or Islam and still be able to maintain the religion of the traditional system? And is idol worshiping the traditional religion? Can Christianity also be a traditional religion?
You said higher. Who tells you that one religion is higher than the other?
I knew that was going to come, Mama. I knew that was going to come. After I said it, I literally swallowed my tongue. I'm like, I knew that was going to.
The traditional worshippers will not agree with you that Christianity or Islam is higher than their own.
I know, sir. I know,
Well,
sir.
one of the duties of the king in any community is to make sure that people are free to worship God in any way that is best suited to them. So if somebody feels that a tree is what he wants to worship, or a stone, or a river, or a stream, he has to be given the right and freedom to do so. And you see, sometimes
Yes, sir.
people don't really understand what goes on with the traditional system. People refer to them as idol worshippers. No, it's not exactly so.
Hmm.
What they call idols, I mean the deities, they are
Hmm.
people who understand it know that they are equivalent of what Christians also uh, practice. But the important thing is that God Himself is remote. You cannot touch Him. You cannot even see Him. So you need
Hmm.
messengers. You need prophets. You need intermediaries between you and God, because you cannot see Him, and it's not everybody that can hear Him directly. Only very, very few people that God Himself chooses. These are the people who can hear His voice and relate it to people. So everything you have in Christianity, or in Islam, talk about angels, they are there. I want to hear Bora, I want to. So the deities, they are the messengers. These are the ones that the traditional setting can see and relate with, and then through them, they relate to the Olodumare. I am a Christian, but I understand all these things because of my position.
Hmm. 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 Let's bring it on,
Yes.
Kabiyesi. Where did the Ijero people come from?
Well, the Ajero is a direct son of Oduduwa, who left
Hmm.
Ile-Ife like his brothers Among the 7 prominent sons of Oduduwa, I am one of them, and I am right in the middle.
Wow.
I have 3 senior brothers and 3 junior ones.
Wow.
There's also another part of it. The Alara, the Ajero, and the Orogun are,
Yes.
are paramount rulers in Yoruba land. We are all sons of Oduduwa, and then we come from the same mother. In that setting too, I am right in the middle. I have a senior brother and I have a junior one. So the Ajero comes directly from Oduduwa, and our home, original home, is in Ife. Till today, we have the Ita Ajero in Ile-Ife.
Well, that's interesting. So it looks like a lot of the kings and stuff are all linked to Ife, and that's why they said Ile Ife, ibi tójúmọ́ ti ń mọ́ wá.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, orírun ní Ife.
If I'm correct, sir.
You are right.
Ile Ife, ibi tójúmọ́ ti ń mọ́ wá.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
So the Jero people technically are also Ife people who migrated through the ancestors, the Ajero.
To our present site here.
To your present side. And how many kings? Can you give us an overview, sir? How many Ajeros have existed? What were some of the paramount Ajeros? And you being the current Ajeros, what kind of things have you brought in as development into Ijero Ekiti?
Let me answer your first question that how many Ajeros have sat on this throne.
Yes.
I will tell you that we don't know.
Wow.
The dates were not recorded, and the records are not really clear, because when did the education or writing come to Yoruba land, or when did it come to this part of the world? So there were no records, proper records. So it's not a matter of conjecture, but we are living with it, and there's nothing anybody can do about that. I'm talking about what I have brought to this throne. Well, another primary assignment of Anoba is to always go around, seek development for his kingdom. You seek development from government of the day. You cooperate with them, you work with them to be able to bring developments to you. And that's on one side. On the other side, you encourage your people, especially those who are privileged by their positions or by their state of finances, to help in bringing development to the people. And that's what we've been trying to do. Since I came, a lot of developments have followed me to this kingdom. In education, we have many primary schools, many secondary schools, joining the ones I met on the ground. And today now we have Ekiti State College of Health Science and Technology, a tertiary institution in Ijero. It was not there until I came. We also have the Ekiti State Cooperative College, another tertiary institution in the town. So in terms of health, I came in, I met a general hospital. Now we have a state specialist hospital here.
Wow.
When I came, we had a DPO, a divisional police officer, but today, Ijero is a seat of area commander of the police. So many developments in health, in agri.
Now you have been able to facilitate.
That
you've been able to facilitate.
Yes, that's what we've been doing.
Wow, Kabiyesi, that's a great one. My final question before I let you go, sir. What are the tourism attraction in Nigeria? So, if anybody from the diaspora is Googling African traditional institutions and they came across this video and they say, we want to go to Africa, you want to come to Ijero, what should they expect to see when they come to Ijero, sir?
Well, one of the things that tourists would like to see here is our own palace structure. The Ijero Kingdom is a very old and ancient kingdom, and the palace structure that we met on the ground, with all the various courts, 16 courts, are still there for people to see and to know what is being done in each of the courts in the palace, within the palace premises. Another major one that we have here is our traditional festival, which is called the Ogun Festival, which incorporates many aspects of our tradition and culture, and is celebrated every August. It's usually very powerful and very interesting, and for people, indigenous don't want to miss it. Whoever misses it will feel will really miss it wherever they may be. And that is the time that our people come home every year. They come with their friends, they come with their well-wishers, and they enjoy themselves. It usually lasts 1 week. It's a week, it's a full week of celebration, of dining and whining, a lot of music, a lot of dancing, masquerades, and things like that. So this is one of the tourist potentials here.
Fantastic. Do you have a waterfall at all?
No, we don't.
I know there was you don't have a waterfall,
No.
so we're looking forward to coming. Hopefully, by God's grace, I would have a delegation of some young people, maybe during our holiday or leave, and let's come and storm Ijero, come and see some of the cultures and heritage of our people, the Yoruba land in Nigeria. Kitikambesi, thank you so much for your time. This
Thank
has been
you.
expository. Part of one of the core things that I learned today is that the traditional system still has a judiciary structure till today. You know,
Yeah.
most of the modern social media youths of our generation would think that, I think I'm also guilty of that. I wasn't actually aware that, that system is still adjudicating as of today. But it's good that that's why we're having this conversation, to learn from our leaders, so that the Yoruba will say, tó bá bá ìtàn, tó tó ṣe bí òwe sà, wàá bá
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni,
àrọ́bá.
bàbá àrọ́bá.
So
Àrọ́bá
at least
gangan ni bàbá
keep
ìtàn.
So, one of the things Kabiyesi is that back in those days, you had your grandmother who will sit with you and tell you the histories and the stories, but there's no grandmother anywhere. Today, the only thing you have is Instagram, Facebook, and social media. So we
Yeah.
decide to use that medium to bring
Internet.
all the internet. So to bring all the fathers of culture to come and share with us, where young people from all over the world can come to YouTube and watch this video and let you war over part of Nigeria. Thank you so much, Kabiyesi. Kade
You're
kó
welcome.
pẹ́ lórí, kí bàtà
Àṣẹ.
pẹ́ lẹ́sẹ̀,
Àṣẹ.
ṣọba ayé bó pẹ́. I think I'm right, sir.
You are right. Orí adé àgbè ẹ o.
Àmì sà.
Wàá ṣoríire o.
Àmì sà.
Òní ṣẹ́kù, òní yàn kú o.
Àmì o Jésù.
Wàá
Àmì
dàgbà,
sà.
wàá darúgbó. Iṣẹ́ tó ń ṣe á pé ẹ o. Kò ní dìṣẹ́
Àmì,
mọ́ ẹ lọ́wọ́ o.
àmì lórúkọ Jésù.
Wàá ṣẹ́gun ọ̀tá, wàá rẹ́yìn odi o.
Àmì Jésù. Àmì sà.
Thank you too.
So